You said it was your fault, but I'm interested to know if it really was his fault, and then he let you. I think he's saying he let you take the.
He always double checks.
I always double check.
That's the truth.
I always we record.
And another thing about pocket watching is it might not even be accurate because these are things that you're making up in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be looking at me as a billionaire and you hating on me, and I'm not even a billionaire. But really, we can.
And he the same one that talk about the content creators.
Hold on. I say we can't. I say you're never going to change it.
Right. He was the one trying to inspire. Right. Telling us like you can't hold people back from what they're gonna do.
There's one thing you can't control, and that's people. Welcome back to the Millionaire Essentials podcast, where we give you guys all the essentials to become a millionaire. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon the Provider.
Yes, sir, and it's Tevin Facey, and we have the notorious Ashley McCoy here.
The real McCoy.
The real McCoy.
The real McCoy.
Let's be clear.
Very clear. The real McCoy. And you know, I appreciate you for coming up here, right? Because I know you have a very busy schedule. There's a lot of things going on in your life. A lot of cars that need to be insured.
Correct.
But besides that and everything else, tell us a little bit about who Ashley, the real McCoy, is.
Just a girl. That's what I like to say. No, so I am what I would like to call myself a serial entrepreneur, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I say that only because I'm not just interested in one thing. I'm interested in many things, whatever my talents will allow. So I think I'm just somebody that's like on the road to be like a business mogul. Like that's my focus.
That's amazing. A business mogul. I like that.
Yeah.
And it's perfect because I think the other day was National Women's Day, right?
Yes.
National Women's Day. So it's perfect. We have somebody like you on, a serial entrepreneur, a black woman, an educated woman. Every time I speak to you, you sound very educated, very well dressed.
Very. Always soft spoken too.
Really?
Yes. She said, "Really?"
My mom and some other loved ones.
I mean,
would be
what's
like,
your family? You know how that.
They were like, okay.
You know
I'm
how
glad
that
that's what
goes.
they got from it.
So let's talk about how did you become a serial entrepreneur? Like where did it really start?
So for me, I grew up with a family of entrepreneurs. So my parents and my grandparents, they were like into real estate, insurance, mortgages, things like that. So just watching them grow up and build their businesses, I think it kind of like struck a chord with me that like, oh, okay, I can go off on my own and like, do things. So I think when I was like 9 or 10, like I would go and knock on doors with a lawnmower and ask them like, can I mow your lawn? We could do the front and the back, $10, $20. Horizontal, vertical, like these are your options. You know what I mean?
You got options.
Right, exactly. If they don't want to do it, okay, maybe I'll get, 10 no's, but one of these people say yes,
Right.
I'll be $20 richer,
Hey.
I could get some candy or something. So that was like my mindset at the time. And so I think that was my first experience with knowing that I could do something on my own and succeed, right?
Right.
So my example was just, okay, so you've been cutting all these lawns, so it's possible that if you want something, you just go and get it.
That's amazing.
You don't look like the landscaping type. I ain't gonna lie. So I know you must be working hard.
Look at the nails, right?
Yeah. At the
look
time,
like the
it wasn't all
landscape
it is, but at that moment, listen.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
To get to where you're at now.
The kids were playing outside. That's all fine. I was doing that too, but it's like I needed money. I don't know why. That's so strange. Like I have no clue.
I think it's because you were introduced to entrepreneurship so early, right?
She had a foundation.
Yeah, you had the foundation. You had people that were, like I said, mortgage brokers. It's hard. They got to go out there and get it. They're not given those leads. So I think that foundation is definitely important with what you're talking about. And what a lot of people, maybe out there in America, they probably have families that are doing the 9 to 5. So whenever they go to high school or college, they're just thinking about the 9 to 5. They're not thinking about that entrepreneur.
And I think it's important for what she said too. Because a lot of us, when we're younger, right, we look at celebrities as our heroes. We look at people on TV as our heroes.
You look at your family.
What if your family, your mom and dad could be your hero and say, I want to be like my mom and dad? It's a lot of us that I would say our generation, or a little bit before us, we didn't want to be like our mom and dad. And we don't want to work that hard.
Right.
But I think we need to start setting an example and saying, I want my child to be like me and better. I want my child to get into this business and take over this business. Right. A lot of our moms, dads, like, yo, I don't want you to do what I do. I don't want you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you
I want you to be better.
You can see, I want to do what my mom and dad did and be even better. So they set the foundation for you to become this serial entrepreneur.
Correct. They were like, well, you need to do what we're doing because you keep asking for money. So, like, apparently our money is working for you. So if you do this, you can get the same. That's and so amazing. Then I was just kind of like, okay. And then that's how I started with real estate because my mom told me to go and get her check off the counter. And then I I was like, okay, let me run in and get it. And then when I looked at it, I was like, if you could pay for me to go to real estate school, like I promise I'm going to make you proud. That's what I told her at the time. And so then she was just like, all right.
Wait, the eyes.
At the time. I think I did my job. I think I made her proud. I'm not sure. But so she paid for me to go to real estate school. And then from there, like, I took off because I'm like, if my mom can do that, then I can do that, you know?
So when I see you online, right, I see you with all these celebrities. I see you with these big cars. So you spoke a little bit about earlier, right? You do insurance. What type of insurance do you do? Because I see you with a bunch of cars, Rolls Royces, Bentleys.
So people think so people think only like car insurance. Yeah. And I get that. But I do all types of insurances. So I do auto, home, life insurance, health insurance, business, commercial. I think as far as marketing is concerned, sometimes it fluctuates. Okay. So there has been a time where I posted nothing but like homes.
Yep. Okay.
You know what I mean? $1 million homes or like
property insurance.
Yeah, flipping homes. You know what I mean? Those type of investment properties.
Investment properties.
Yeah. So like I showed all of that for a large portion of the time too. And then sometimes it switches, and then it's like the cars. So I have no rhyme or reason. I just do whatever it is that like I'm called to do in that moment.
That's amazing. And so like I said, externally we see, you know, that car insurance world because you're the luxury cars and things like that. Right. So, you know, speak a little bit about that luxury car insurance world. Maybe you know, how are you delving into it? How did this start for you? And, you know, take it from there.
So, well, luxury cars, I mean, obviously, like I've insured them before, but I feel like as far as to this magnitude, it probably has a lot to do with my partnership with like Bentley and Rolls Royce. I work with them closely.
That's it. Hey,
I need a Bentley.
Hey, when we get
I
there,
can definitely get you the hookup.
When we get there, bro, I know
you're recording, right?
You
say you're gonna give me the hookup.
Well, I'm gonna recommend you to somebody. I'm gonna recommend you to somebody who is gonna see what they can do.
All right,
thank you.
Yeah,
so I don't know about no discounts and nothing like that, but I'm just saying that I know that everybody there works well. So
we know Bentley, Rolls Royce to give it no discounts.
Ain't no discounts.
Ain't no holiday sale.
They don't put out no commercials or nothing for us.
I know.
They don't. Well, not for us, but just in general, they don't put out commercials.
Yeah, I saw a meme on Instagram about that like years ago when it was like, have you ever noticed Rolls Royce and like Bentley? They don't make commercials. Yeah. But they're such a quality brand.
Speaking of that, so how did you get involved in Rolls Royce, Bentley, especially being a black woman, a young woman? How did you get in that space to now build that relationship?
So I was actually recommended to someone there.
Oh, wow.
And then they just said, okay, we'll try you out like with one person. So I'm like, okay, that's fair because I'm okay with like proving myself. I know what I'm going to do.
Concept.
Right. So then, you know, I did the job and it was like, all right, we'll try you again. It's like, okay. So I had to patiently wait for them to continue to try me until they were like fully convinced that, listen, the girl...
Right,
she gets the job done. Yeah, they're like, she gets the job done every single time. We like her customer service. And we love how she works with our clients, which is something that was very important to them because they felt like, you know, I carried myself like I went along with their brand. So it worked for them. And so from there, you know, everybody in the dealership just works with me and sends me business. And then we love each other, I think, at this point.
I think being an entrepreneur especially, right, a lot of us got to understand relationships are more important than the money in your bank.
Yes.
Because a relationship as an entrepreneur can take you a long way. When your entrepreneurship is up and down.
Right.
So 1 year you have a bad year. But that relationship you cultivated, they can open doors and get you from A to Z. From
Absolutely.
0 to 100 to 100,000 to 1 million. Yeah. So definitely relationships and keeping the right relationships.
Correct.
Because you never know who you're going to meet that's going to make a difference.
Exactly, because everybody is somebody.
Yep. And I love you said that to us earlier, like everybody's somebody. And I think that's something that we definitely have to hone in on, right? Because I think, especially in the social media era, right? Because people see so much people with the followers and with the glitz and glam, that sometimes when they meet the regular people, they don't believe that they have, I guess what the young kids call motion now or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so they don't got
like you ain't young, bro.
Right.
Come on, bro.
The young kids.
I'm young old. I ain't gonna lie. I'm young old. I got the old soul.
I'm young old.
but they say they got the motion, so it's like if they looking at them and there's no motion. Well, they feel like there's no motion externally.
Right.
They don't know.
That's so true. Yeah. And then people they judge you. They prejudge you.
Prejudge you automatically just off of that.
Exactly. But we don't want to work with those people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You want to work with smart people.
Yep.
And people who are...
Yeah, who actually care for your advice, who actually care to speak to you, just to say hello, and not just to say, hey, what are you doing, and all those other things. But
yeah, because the most intelligent people anyways have certain characteristics, and that's not one of them. It's prejudging someone. You know what I mean? Most people who are successful, they understand that you may meet somebody who looks like the average Joe, but he may actually, maybe own 15 buildings over there.
Right.
And somebody like me, you were looking to insure them. And then you met this random guy, and he just had on a black shirt, black pants, sneakers. He was at the coffee shop, and he was like, yeah, I own those buildings. You know what I mean? So, like, I've been in those type of situations where I realized that you can't judge somebody. It's impossible.
Right.
Because you really don't know who knows what. We all have life experiences. So just because I may not look like what you want doesn't mean I don't have what you need.
Yep.
The millionaire next door.
Yep. So, I guess a question I want to ask, right? Because obviously the luxury cars, they're there, right? We see that you insure those, and you did say that we insure a lot of other different, the homes,
events,
health, right? Events. So, like I said, we externally see you in that car insurance world. Do you do regular cars, or is it only luxury cars?
Yes, I do regular cars too. I just
gotta ask. I gotta make sure.
And you know what it is too? I feel like some of the things is like protecting people's privacy,
right?
Stuff like that too.
That's completely understandable, right?
You know what I mean? So the average person probably does not want me to like put it out there that like, oh, I insure them and and just like it could be on a celebrity level. Sometimes I can't share much of that either, because they want confidentiality on who their insurance person is.
Right.
Because that's like their finances. So like if you're putting that out there, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't want everybody to know that, you have their 5 homes and 15 cars.
It's like telling somebody who you voting for, yo.
Yeah, right. Or it's like telling somebody maybe who your accountant is, or, any other thing, who your attorney is. Maybe people don't want people to know those things.
You're right. But and that's another thing you said, like you said that, and that's networking in general, right? So when you network with people on a certain level, it's not really what they know, it's what team is behind them.
Correct.
You want to get to know their accountants, you want to get to know their attorneys, their insurance person, because it's the team that's really getting that person to the next level.
That team's gonna take you far.
So it's key that you said that. And one of the things I want to touch on, the first time I actually got introduced to you, it was in this big, beautiful white space, this nice event, a lot of prominent figures there. So you actually own an event space.
Yes.
A nice event space, too.
Oh, really nice event space.
I mean, it's
incredible event space.
That's sweet. It's cute. It's a 1,500 square feet warehouse space, and I renovated it. It was actually supposed to be my insurance agency.
Yes, I remember you told me.
And then I guess I carry people along on Instagram. Like I was just like, I'm just doing renovations, and I was just showing it to them just at random. And then when I got done, I started decorating. People were like, oh, can I rent it out for an event, or can I do a photo shoot? And then after that, I'm like, all right. And then I never worked in there a day that I've had it. Wow. It just turned into a whole nother business. And that was right up my alley. I was just like, wow, okay. And I love that because it was like spontaneous. So that's why you have to like follow your life's path, because you really don't know where it's taking you.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's definitely amazing, because it, like, in a sense, it worked for you, right? So a lot of people, they like to get into multiple different streams of income, right?
Right.
But this was like, it still worked inside of your space, right? Because even though you're insuring people and insuring events, right, you can have an event there, and guess what? They have to come to you for that.
The event insurance.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it works in tandem.
Exactly. So it's, Brandon, you always say it's that...
reverse engineer?
Yeah, the reverse engineer, but that ladder to success inside of your business, right? Because now you have multiple streams inside of your business.
Right.
Right, but not multiple different businesses
to focus on.
Exactly.
Like I get what you're saying. Like kind of spreading yourself thin.
Yes, it does happen a lot.
And that's probably why when people ask me, like, oh, why are you doing so many different things? Maybe I don't feel like I am. Because everything feels like it's all under one umbrella.
Exactly.
There you go. So you're adding on, like, shit, like umbrella policies. Yep. You're adding on.
Speaking of insurance.
Speaking of insurance. You're adding on to... You're bolting onto your business, so everything goes with each other, right? It's not like you're doing landscaping, then I'm gonna go be an artist, across the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You was going to make it your insurance agency, but you do insurance anyway, and you're pretty popular.
And you don't have to have that office.
Exactly.
So you could throw events.
Yeah.
Adds up. You was doing real estate. Are you still doing real estate?
So I stopped doing real estate like 2 years ago to focus on the insurance because it did need focus.
No, that mean right.
She would make no money that day.
No, she making a lot of money in insurance.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. She wasn't making money in the real estate, the insurance.
No, actually, I was doing really well in the real estate.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
the insurance is even better.
Yeah. Well, insurance is even better. I mean, I guess it just all depends. So I was doing really well in real estate. I was one of the top producers around here. So
Wow.
He's a realtor specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So people were shocked that like I walked away from it. But the only reason why I did is because when I opened my insurance agency, I had a partner. And then we got a location together and we got staff. And then she kind of like, it didn't work out and she left after 3 months.
Oh, wow.
So then I now had this rent I had to pay. I had the
and this was the event
staff.
space.
No. This is the insurance.
Okay.
I'm telling you like why I took the break from the real estate. And so I was just like, okay, well, this landlord wants the money. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm going to take all my real estate income because that job takes a lot out of you.
It does.
I know everybody wants to be a realtor, but it's a full-time job in order to get, the most thing for your buck. So it was kind of difficult because my clients, they were closing and going under contract and they don't care that I have a second business. So it wasn't like fair to them and that's like the largest purchase of their life.
Right.
So I had to make a conscious decision to say you have to be like 100% in the insurance agency because you can't keep selling real estate just to pay for the insurance. And then you're not pulling up the insurance. You're just paying for the bills of the insurance. Right. Do you get what I mean? So I had to just make a decision and that's it. And I'm like, you can always go back to real estate. I did real estate for 10 years. I come from a real estate family. My mom's been doing real estate 20 years. My grandmother did it for 30 years in Hoboken. Like, I'm good.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, right, especially what's pushed out nowadays, we speak about it all over social media. Quit your job, become a serial entrepreneur, do this, do that. And a lot of people, they get into so many different businesses and fail at all of them. Yeah. Because they're trying to I'm going to do this, I'm going to do real estate, I'm going to do trucking, I'm going to do Toro. Mm-hmm. And then they all come crashing down. Right. Because like you said, you made a decision to focus, even though you was making good money. Right. But you found a focal point. I'm going to focus on this and build out from here.
Correct. So like I said, if I go back to real estate, I can, right? Because I already know it. Yeah. And I know the insurance. And now I know the venue business. So I'm not straining myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Trying to learn something else while doing. So I think that's what I did differently. When I started doing real estate at 20, I did just real estate for 3 years and learned it inside and out as much as I could. So then when I started doing the insurance, I took a break from real estate for a year and I focused on the insurance. Yes, getting my license, learning the insurance. Then business. I went and dabbled back into the real estate and merged them together because they went together perfectly.
Yeah, because the property insurance and everything.
Every property I sold, I just insured it, and they loved it. They was like, "Oh, you're a one-stop shop."
That's why she was killing it.
That's exactly.
check on check.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hello. And then I was just like, okay, this is the right way to do that. And then just like we said with the venue space, that was just kind of like, okay, I have to randomly do that. I'm not gonna say I had to stop and like focus on that. It was pretty easy. And I don't like to call jobs easy, but to me, when you come from a real estate background or any finance industry in general, it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of details. Yes. So a creative job to me is easy. Right. So running a venue space is easier to me. Watching people do photo shoots and events, it doesn't require me to think. If that makes sense.
Because it comes easy to you because you had that foundation from little. You was already thinking like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you follow the same concept. And I think that's what it is when you mention people failing. You start with one business, do well at it. And if you don't do well at something, you can keep trying or start something else. Find something that you do well at. And then maybe try again or whatever. Use the same concept that you used with the next business. So it doesn't matter the industry. You can use the same metrics.
Right.
And that's the definition of a serial entrepreneur, which you just broke down. In real estate, you had that mindset. You use a strategy. You switched over to insurance, the same thing.
Same strategy.
Switching over. So that's the definition of a real serial entrepreneur. And you're putting out a product and you're getting paid multiple times within that business. You're finding out multiple ways to get paid off of that business.
Correct.
So when people talk about creating 7 streams of income, it's not 7 different businesses. Find out how to get paid multiple times in that same field of work.
But also the hard work. Like I'm gonna be honest. I really love what you said. Like everything you said after was great. But I really love what you said about the lawnmower. Right?
Yes.
You having that lawn business because you really actually
the lawn business. That's so funny.
The lawn business.
The lawn business.
I don't know if it was a business. I guess it was, right?
No, it was.
Yeah, it didn't have an LLC or nothing. It wasn't official.
Exactly, but
Sole proprietor.
Yeah, sole proprietor at that point. But it's because you instill that hard work in yourself from young, right? And like you said, it may be just because you wanted more money,
right?
But regardless of the fact, you saw other people doing hard work inside of your family,
right?
So,
and I did what I could do at that age because I couldn't get a job.
Of course, and I think that's amazing because you thought about that, right? Before you even just jumped into, you thought about, okay, I need to make money. What's the best way for me to make money? Maybe I can go around with this lawnmower. Yeah. See if I can go cut people's lawn.
Exactly. Because the lemonade stands, I thought about that too, but it wasn't making as much money.
But these
so I figured
these kids nowadays, they want to go on TikTok, social media, and try to make content and think that's, that can pay them to pay all their bills.
That is. See, I think times has changed.
Times have. I was gonna say that
business now.
I understand.
See, now he being old, young again.
See, now you being old.
But hold up.
These kids nowadays.
But hold up. But I think that leads to a bigger problem later on, though.
I understand what you mean.
Exactly. Because
but will it
does.
though? If times are changing, we really don't know if it's gonna lead to a bigger problem.
What problem though? What problem?
I think it's the part of hard work. Hard work. No, social. Yes, I think that so.
But hard work is relative. That's for some people, as you know, content is hard work, bro.
I know.
So so you mean physical hard work?
No, not physical hard work, but your brain.
You're just talking about using your brain.
Yeah, using
because
your brain.
He's not
further.
lying. People don't do that.
Yeah, they don't.
It's not a lie. This is the truth.
How you look at it. I think they're using their brains in other ways now because now it's being more creative.
I would like to know more about this because I don't see it that way. So I'm interested.
I don't see it that way neither.
I'm interested. Let's interview you now.
In my opinion, right? Right. At first,
it's our show.
We're the Millionaire Essentials.
I mean, she's definitely a Millionaire Essential.
Oh, okay.
I need a hat too. I'm an essential business. Actually, right? COVID proved that.
Yeah, you are. You are an essential.
True.
You just said I'm along for a ride.
Yeah, you just along for the ride.
Wow, now he kicked you out, but you were my host, and now he switched it.
Yeah, see, look, it's all right.
But we want to hear more about how you're telling us in 2024, people use their brains? I
like that. I like that.
No, they do.
She's good.
It's just a different shift, just like with everything that's going on. Because like somebody that's in their 50s and 60s could easily say the next generation is this. They say that to us.
Right.
Yo, your generation. And we saying that to them.
Right.
So it's just a shift in the climate and the mindset of how to do things because the world changes, the world evolves. So there's a lot of people in their 50s that still don't get on, the 60s, 70s that still don't get online and be like, I ain't mess with the internet. But you never evolved. So we have to evolve nowadays. It's about being more creative. So these kids, like the streamers and all that, a lot of us don't know how to make $1 million a month of streaming the right way. These kids are figuring out, I could be a gamer, I could be a streamer, I could do these things, be a serial entrepreneur doing the things I love by turning the camera on and creating content. And we be thinking, oh, they just getting on camera. But they're learning the business side of it. A lot of us don't know how to make $1 million off of YouTube, $1 million off of streaming. A lot of us don't. And now all these big guys, companies are running to the little kids, the 18, 19, 20-year-olds, because they multimillionaires. And they're making these companies billions.
But just like anything, right? Every kid is not making $1 million.
And I think it's a phase because the reason why I say that is because how long is that gonna last?
Okay, so he looks at it as trendy. Yes. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's trendy right now. They're making companies billions. So now that corporate is behind it, it's no longer a phase.
It's a new industry, is what you're saying.
It's an industry now.
It's not a hobby,
it's
trendy hobby.
Now.
Right. I believe that.
I think we just have to accept that.
As
the old people of the world.
As the older people, right?
That's like
you just
old
gotta
people
get over
in hip hop. Right. They looking at these kids now making way more money than they did because they didn't know how to make money back in the day.
Right.
Well, so then again,
and they talk about artist development and stuff like that.
Artist development, I think that's very crucial. Yeah. Especially now, I think a lot of
But then the younger artists are just like, we don't care about artist development. We're getting it regardless.
But then a lot of them, they fall off automatically.
Correct. So that's where you're coming from.
Exactly.
So he's coming from the standpoint of...
It has to be built up.
I know what you mean. There's a classic layer of rules, like a foundation that never changes, no matter what time changes, right? It's still these set of rules will always work even 10, 15, 20 years from now.
That's why they keep calling for A&R.
And that is true.
It depends what you're talking about.
But
They don't want A&Rs no more.
Right. So, but there's things that shift, that change. So things like that may change, right? So we can't just go with the old ways, but there are old ways that just will always work.
Always work.
Yes, I agree with that.
But a lot of people don't think like that.
They're always that.
And that's why they don't succeed.
Because think about SZA, right? SZA, they had to develop SZA more. That's why SZA, it took her time. It took her time to develop from her, I think, the first album to her second album. It took almost 3-4 years. And then her album after that, it took another 3 or 4 years.
I totally disagree with what you're saying, because back in the day, the average artist didn't know how to mix their song. They didn't know how to have their own studio.
Of course.
They didn't know how to. Now these kids are knowing how to mix, how to create, how to engineer. Everything bottom. They with an iPhone shooting a video, mixing a song,
and then you have studios available
it.
too. Think about that as well. A lot of people creating creative spaces
there's a lot more
that you didn't have
spaces.
back in the day. Maybe it was like, oh, studio whatever is on 74th Street, and everybody knew to go to that one.
And you had to pay that one.
Right.
Now there's an app that could do all of that for you, and the kid can do it right in his closet at home.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you're saying, but there's still a disconnect, because if that was the case, there'd be 10 times more artists. There'd be 10 times more songs on the radio.
There is.
No, there isn't. This is you. If you look at the carousel of songs that's on Hot 97, Power 105, it's typically the same artist over
the same
and
songs
over
and over and over.
the same songs.
So let's.
I think about. Hold on. Let's touch on Ice Spice, right? I'm gonna touch on Ice Spice.
Okay.
Just because I think, and then we'll get back to it, right? Because I know we veered off left.
It's okay.
But Ice Spice, right? With her, has she done the album yet? I don't even know.
She's a millionaire.
That's great, but how long is that gonna last?
We gonna get back to that. But I want to touch on something.
I'm like, let's check
right?
so that way we're not saying anything incorrect. Have Ice Spice coming for
Right.
you.
I want to touch on something she said.
Has an album.
They don't need albums. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna touch on something she said though.
EPs, yeah, you're right. I guess so.
But they got to keep working and working and working and working and
Exactly.
working.
That's
That's what he's trying to say.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna break that down now because I don't want to get too deep in it, but I'm gonna break it down real quick. A lot of artists don't even need to put out albums. Flo Rida, he don't put out albums. He put out songs and tours the world.
Well, that's because he's already
just
passed
to
his
interrupt
contract.
you guys, Ice Spice does have an album dropped in 2023.
Okay.
It's called like with a
But
question
see-
mark.
But see, I didn't even know that she had an album.
That's because you don't have to know it. They're making millions off a single.
But there's a bunch of people.
Before.
There's a bunch of people who apparently know.
Oh, okay.
You just don't.
And it's not
I
your
just
lane. That's what I'm saying.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, and
No,
just because it's not your lane doesn't that
Ain't
does
she like
that
a
doesn't.
megastar
When Taylor
now, in a
Swift comes out
sense?
with an album, do you always know?
I typically see it.
Do you pay attention to it? You probably don't even know when Taylor Swift comes out with an album.
Yeah,
And that's the biggest artist in the
And how many albums
Exactly.
Taylor Swift has?
I think she got like 8. I'm lying. I threw that number out there.
I know you threw that number
I think
out
about the
there.
Grammys. I was thinking about the Grammys.
No, but I want to ask you something important that she said earlier, right? There's the same set of principles that will apply throughout generations.
Correct.
So you're coming out with a book, actually, that's breaking down about your path and principles and things that would apply to help people out there.
Right.
So break down about this book that you're coming out.
So speaking of principles, my book is actually inspired by my favorite book that changed my life, which is called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield.
Oh, wow.
So I recommend everybody to get that book.
Okay.
So what stuck out to me about his book was that the first chapter was about accountability. I had to be like 20-something reading that. And I feel like I knew nothing about accountability. And it has nothing to do with being a woman, either, by the way. I know y'all like to know because y'all like to make jokes about women not taking accountability.
sorry.
So I wanted to go ahead and just...
International Women's Month. I don't even know about day. It's International
It's the Women's Month. Yes.
Listen, I apologize because the way she just came at us, I don't know what I did.
I was just setting the
I
record
think
straight,
I think
guys.
that was for every man.
Right. That was just like before you, because I know men are everywhere. It's like, accountability. That was the first chapter. So, yes. So, it kind of, he went over everything like in detail. Like, he was like, if you're late to work, it's your fault. And I'm like, what? It wasn't my fault. 280 was packed. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, you should have left earlier. The way he broke everything down in detail, I was like, well, I couldn't leave earlier because da-da-da-da. Should have ate your breakfast earlier. Should have set the alarm. Like, everything led back to you.
Right.
And so that shifted my mindset. And so when I wrote my book.
Mindset. I love that you said that.
Exactly. So when I wrote my book, I think the first chapter is about mindset. I'm like, we got to start here. Let's start with the mindset, because if your mind is wrong, like I told them, don't even go to the next chapters. Just close the book, actually, and go get your mind right. And then come back and read the book, because you need to have a good mindset in order to receive what I'm going to tell you, right? Because somebody can tell you something, but it doesn't mean that you're going to take it, or you might take it only from your perspective and not the perspective of the other person.
That's correct.
And that's been coming up a lot in conversation, how we can have a conversation and have two different viewpoints, right? Yes. And then I may say something to you, and then you're like, well, I already know that. And it's like, yeah, but you know that from your perspective. You don't know it from my perspective. Yep. So maybe if you knew it from my perspective, it would help to shift yours.
And I think the perspective, it also shapes your mindset, right? Because
absolutely,
because a lot of people, they can have mindset, but and I don't know if I've seen it, but I may have heard of it, that they'll take somebody else's perspective in their mindset. So then now their mindset is very similar to theirs, but everybody has their own perspective.
Authenticity.
Exactly. Too. So we have to be authentic in our speech and what we do and how we operate. And I think that's very important inside a mindset, because that's the way how you grow your mind.
Correct. And my book is called Insure the Bag, by the way. Like my brand.
Oh, I like the bag.
I like that.
Insure the Bag.
I like that.
But it's not about insurance. It's about how to insure the bag of life.
Oh, that's amazing.
You understand?
I really love that.
And it's like a self-help.
I want a copy.
Book,
I just want to let you know.
I'm going to give you a copy. I wish I had it now.
I want to sign.
I want to sign. Yeah.
I'm going to invite you guys to the book launch.
Yes.
She wasn't going to do it before, but she's going to do it now.
I was going to invite you. Were on my list. I think so. I'm going to double check.
So you was on the list.
No, y'all were on the list.
No, I heard the you. It's cool.
Wow.
You heard it right the first time.
I heard. You heard it right. That's what it was. I ain't gonna lie. He might be a little bit narcissistic. It's okay. It's
a little bit narcissistic.
It's all right. It's a little bit.
Listen, she motivated me to take accountability that we wasn't recording in the beginning. It was my fault.
That was
wow.
No, that was actually my fault.
Hold on.
That was really my fault.
Wait.
It was my fault.
You said it was your fault, but I'm interested to know if it really was his fault, and then he let you. I think he's saying he let you take the.
He always double checks.
I always double check.
That's the truth.
I always we recorded.
So you're saying, although it was his fault, it really was your fault because you normally double check, like that's your process, and you didn't follow it.
Yes.
So actually, it's your fault, and you're going to take accountability.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that.
Consistency.
Absolutely.
No, that's teamwork too.
No, it is. It is, and partnership.
And partnership, yes.
Yep.
Like, can we talk about that?
Yes, let's talk about that. So, we've been partners for quite some time. Yeah. A lot of people always come and say, how y'all partners? How do y'all do it? How do y'all do this? How do you feel about partners, and do you have anybody that's helping you grow as far as in your serial entrepreneurship?
Because I know you said you had a partner before. It didn't work out.
I always see Dolo solo.
I know. Like by myself.
Is there a reason for that?
What, that I'm just by myself?
Yeah, like, do you have partners? Do you believe in partners? Like, I know a lot of people that got burnt. Like,
exactly. So I look at partners like roommates.
Okay.
So I've had roommates, right? My early 20-something. I don't know how to feel about that. And so when you have a roommate, it's like you're sharing the space.
Right.
Kind of like our businesses.
Yeah.
And then when you're an adult or you own a business and you have a partner, you're sharing the business.
Yeah.
Kind of like the apartment.
Okay.
And then it's just a matter of your views have to be in alignment. Just like when we live together in this apartment, I want to know what type of characters you're bringing over here. Because if I don't vibe with people like that, then how can I come out of my room and see a bunch of, crazies in the kitchen? And like, that's your group, but that's not my scene. So then now this partnership is not in alignment, this roommate situation. So it's the same thing with partners. And I think for me, I'm so focused on trying to get to where I'm going that I don't like to waste time. And sometimes I feel like not collaborating with people, because I collaborate with a lot of people in business, referrals wise.
Yes.
But as far as like somebody working very closely with me as my partner, where me and them are making decisions, I think that that takes a lot of energy out of me. Because it's like I have to explain my perspective, and I feel like I'm right. And so I know that I'm right.
Oh, okay.
And so then there's...
Wait, so hold on.
My mind is very known for that. My mind is going everywhere over that.
I couldn't.
I'm just keeping it real.
I couldn't do it.
It's the truth.
My mind is going everywhere.
It's the truth.
I just had a daughter, and she's going to be a Capricorn. Oh,
that's what you thinking of. Oh.
That's exactly what I started thinking about.
Oh, so now you like, so this is what I'm going to have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
So that, I mean, that's the reality. So I'm glad I was able to share that little nugget with you in the midst of what the point I'm trying to make, which is that.
Are you always right?
I mean, I'm not always right, but I'm always right about what I'm right about.
Okay, got you.
If that makes sense.
I mean, not really, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, it makes sense to me. That's what I'm saying. So I'm right. Now I'm right.
No, Brandon, don't.
Hold on.
So I'm right. I'm right now. I'm right again. So let's. So listen, I actually have a partner.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Unique Studios.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And we just started like partnering together.
Oh,
so it's new. It's a new partnership.
It's a new partnership. It's been going for a couple months.
Okay.
And it that worked out because his business was in alignment with
what you got going on.
So is he in like the photography, videography business?
He's a photographer.
I remember we had a conversation about this a long time ago, but that just wasn't what we were on at that time. Like
yes.
we were trying to get to this space that we're at now to do more podcasting, and I think that was the conversation. But it was just that wasn't my alignment at that exact moment. Obviously, we're here now, but
right.
But
that's kind of where you were going at the beginning.
Exactly.
And I've had a few people talk to me about like partnerships and stuff like that. So that one worked because I think I was in a space where I was thinking to myself, you don't have to control everything.
Yes.
So you have multiple businesses, but it's like, I don't mind sharing in the responsibilities with somebody at the studio. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I don't need that much control over that. It's okay. Like that was my secondary thing. I'm not like in love with it. I never grew up wanting to be a venue space owner. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind getting ideas. And I think because that's the creative space, it's better to have a partner because you need as many creative ideas as possible. It's a different realm.
Right.
So I think it's just using your discernment. So then like for me and my partner, like it works because we communicate well with each other and we're on the same page, like with everything.
Is your partner passive?
He's pretty chill. Unless it's something that like he really wants to make a point.
I get why y'all work. You definitely need somebody passive around you. They can't. Let me ask you a question. It's the always right thing. It's the truth. It's the Capricorn thing. And now as you said it, right, and I don't think I've ever heard any other Capricorn say it. Now as you say it, I can relate to literally every single Capricorn I've known in my life now. That is their exact, like, that's their mindset right there.
So I helped you.
Yeah, you did.
Bring it on in today. You were years old.
Yeah, I'm today years old about Capricorn. There's so much he wants to add.
I mean, she pretty much.
You want to add something about Capricorn? Or you want to
No.
Or it was about the partnership?
Not at all. Yeah, the podcast would be longer.
Did that answer your partnership question?
No, you pretty much answered it.
So I do have a partner.
Yes.
You just didn't know that.
No, I didn't. That's why I was curious because I always see you, like I said, dolo solo.
By myself, yeah. Because I just try to focus on what's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like me having a partner is not important.
I got you.
And he can share it the same way he shares it. And him highlighting me is not important. He just needs to do his part.
Do your job. Y'all just do each other's job.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So we can get the business to where it needs to be.
So I got a question, right? So obviously you're doing a lot of obviously insuring the bag,
yes.
Right? Not only just for yourself but for your clients.
Right.
Do you insure the bag yourself in the sense of, are you doing other investments? Like, are you investing outside of just the insurance business, right? Are you investing into like real estate, businesses? Like what are you doing in a sense?
I actually started investing a couple years ago with my mom.
Okay.
So we had gotten a few Airbnbs.
Okay.
That we got, which I don't talk about either. I just, go through the motions with that. So she is my partner too, actually. Now that I think about it.
I mean, that
we breaking down the whole Ashley McCoy business now.
Right, now you're like, so now we can see. So we need something,
McCoy.
the faces behind Ashley McCoy, right?
Yes.
Let all of those people come out.
Yes.
I'm just the face.
No, but that's important to know because a lot of people out there, right, they really think, oh, I got to do it all. But we all have teams behind us. We all have. We don't have to speak about them.
Correct.
Yeah, because you're the face. But we have people behind us that we're partnering. We're doing this. We're doing that. That's how we could be a serious. We can't do everything. It's only 24 hours in a day.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You say you got a meeting today. You got something to do today. So we have to have teams and partners behind us to make sure things are still getting done.
Correct.
You know
It just everybody has to be in alignment. So like with my mom, I don't know if we could be partnered in like a business like Unique Studios or something else. But the reason why we could be good partners in real estate is because our goals are in alignment.
Yeah.
Which is, building up a real estate portfolio for our family, which is just me and my sister. So really for my sister, lucky her, right?
So like,
but
that's amazing though. I mean, did your this is just a question? Did she?
But she invested into real estate too.
I was gonna say, did she have to go through a lot of the things like as far as the hard work and tribulations that you had to go through?
My sister is exactly like me.
Is she a Capricorn too?
Older or younger?
No, she's younger. She's a Gemini.
She learned from y'all. Yeah, she learned from it.
Yeah, but she didn't want to do anything with real estate, so she actually is in the hospitality industry. So she's like, she runs like some Carrabba restaurants, and so she's currently a part of the program that allows you to own one. So that's what she's working on. She's 27, so she's about to actually purchase like a Carrabba's, which I think is even more amazing than anything I have going on. That's a franchise, and it's like, she's gonna be like a restaurateur.
That's amazing.
Restaurateur.
Does the McCoy family give out loans? Y'all give
people?
Yeah, that answers it.
I feel like family gives
to people. To people, like what?
To randoms? No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not kidding. No, you don't. So yeah, that was the answer. No, she doesn't give out loans. No, does the McCoy family.
Nor does the McCoy family. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So I mean, we'll be hitting you up.
I haven't seen like general loans. I've seen like in-house loans, with family members.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen like exterior.
Okay, that's amazing.
So what does the future look like for Ashley? What are we working on in 2024? You got the book coming out to help a lot of people, motivate them, entrepreneurs, business owners, regular everyday people, to motivate them, get them to that next step. But what does the future look like for Ashley McCoy? What does that empire look like?
So I'm glad that you led with the book, because the whole point of the book is just me deciding to be more intentional about like giving back and not giving back in a way of just like, oh, here goes, book bags or something, right?
Right.
I'm going to do all that. But I just mean in a sense of like, I want to empower people like mentally, because just in life in general, I've struggled mentally with like being confident and telling myself that I could do something. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's been like a battle, and so it's something that I was able to overcome. And I know a lot of people struggle with it, and it's so necessary in order to be successful at anything in life.
Right.
Like, it's not just about careers. Some people don't have careers. Some people are housewives, right? So they still have goals and different things too. So it's like everybody needs to be empowered mentally to just keep going every day. So my goal is to focus more on making a difference for real, and not just like, I feel like I'm over the idea of just, I have to make money or I want to succeed. I feel like I've already proven to myself that I can succeed. Like, there's more things that I want to do, but that's like
how many
relative.
People can you bring with you in a sense?
Yeah, how many people can I bring with me, or how many people can I look back and see that they went and did their thing
based upon
maybe something, a conversation we had or whatever. I don't even want a part of it. I just want to look back and see that like you became the best that you can be, and that's what's going to make me happy. So I'm going to spend more time doing things like that. I have a nonprofit organization that I'm starting for young girls.
Wow.
To help inspire them. Maybe they don't have fathers, or they have like rough households, or whatever things that girls go through that I might have been through as a young girl, because we need to invest into the youth. So I want to focus on them.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
I got one last question for you before we go. Right. So this is the Millionaire Essentials podcast, right? What has this insurance business done for you as far as you don't have to answer, but as far as like revenue wise, like how does it look for you as an insurance broker that per year in a sense, right? So if somebody out there is watching, like, hey, I want to become an insurance broker.
I'm interested.
I'm interested. What does that look like?
How lucrative is the business?
Exactly.
Is what you're saying. So, I mean, I will start with saying that I guess being in the insurance industry landed me on the Forbes list.
Okay, that's amazing.
I feel like I attribute that.
You gotta clap it up for that.
Yeah,
we definitely.
I never talk about that, but like,
you a billionaire?
What happened?
Billionaire?
You clap,
I'm a millionaire.
I was
saying clap,
but that's
yeah.
I'm trying to count her pockets. I'm trying to count how much money she got.
I want to count. People always pocket watching.
Oh,
let's change that in 2024. Let's stop pocket watching.
You ain't never gonna change that. Come on now.
You don't think so?
No. Everybody always going. That's part of that's part of American society.
But we can try to change that. When you say we can't do something, then we can't do it, because you already said we can't.
I say
really,
you're never going to
And
change
he
it.
the same one that talk about the content creators.
Oh, hold on. I didn't say we can't. I say you're never going to change it.
Right. He was the one trying to inspire, right? Telling us, like, you can't hold people back from what they're going to do.
There's one thing you can't control, and that's people.
You can't control people.
That's true.
But we're not trying to control them, but we do want to, like, elevate their mindsets.
Exactly.
So I'm not just gonna let you pocket watch in peace. I'm gonna let you know that, so like, we need to stop pocket watching.
What's wrong with pocket watching?
Why are you pocket watching? What does that have to do with you?
What's wrong with it?
That's what's wrong with it.
It's funny because he doesn't do this. I think he's just having this conversation.
No, he's just trying to do this to me. But it's okay because there's somebody out there.
How much money she made.
There's somebody out there watching that's saying, like, yeah, what's wrong with pocket watching? Because I know I'm pocket watching all the time.
Right.
Honestly, you don't need to pocket watch. But
focus on your own pockets.
You need to focus on your own. But I think it can be used as motivation. That's what I mean by it. It can be used as motivation.
But I don't even think it's not even pocket watching.
It's not.
I think pocket watching is very specifically like.
I'm thinking about it different thing.
You are, and that's what we said about perspectives. Remember?
Yes.
We're talking about the same thing, but we got two different perspectives.
This is the
We're gonna keep bringing it full circle.
All right.
That's what I'm here for.
You and your Capricorn lovers.
Capricorn lovers. I'm here to be right. No. But I feel like pocket watching is just like, I look at that in a negative connotation. You don't?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't thinking about it. Like I get what you're saying now.
It's like being a hater almost. Like it's a long,
because
it falls under the same umbrella.
And let's say if you don't get to that revenue goal, now it's like, damn, like I don't have that Rolls Royce that she's
what
insuring.
he has and what she has.
Exactly.
Because I've been pocket watching him.
Exactly. And I want to get there. I want to get to that point.
And another thing about pocket watching is it might not even be accurate because these are things that you're making up in your mind. Mm-hmm. So you might be looking at me as a billionaire and you hating on me and I'm not even a billionaire.
Right.
I was about to hate on you.
So like, why are we doing that?
When you said Forbes.
That's what I'm saying. But listen, well, that part, people just gonna have to be mad. You understand? Like that's the reality of the situation.
Oh, that's amazing though. You made the Forbes list.
Yeah, I did. So that was great.
And that's for that. I'm sorry.
What list was it?
Yes.
It's the next 1,000 list.
Okay.
So that list was a little bit different than like the 30 under 30. That's the one I wanted.
He's about to ask your age. Is 30 under 30 or 40 under 40?
I actually wasn't going to ask.
He
wasn't because
he's 20 under 20?
He's a gentleman.
Oh,
and gentlemen don't ask women about their age or their weight.
How you know
so we're gonna learn a few things on this episode.
Oh no, she knows me prior.
Ever since you said you like Capricorns, I noticed the conversation.
I actually didn't even say I like Capricorns. That wasn't the word that came
I don't even think he did say that. No,
I did.
Said your daughter's a Capricorn.
Exactly. That don't mean I like her neither. I just love her because I love her.
He's saying because you don't have a choice.
Exactly. But I at least know what she's gonna grow up to be, and I at least understand that.
That's one thing. If it's a Capricorn, then more than likely, I'm not saying we don't have any Capricorn bums.
No, 90% of the Capricorns that I met are just exactly.
Yeah, but we have a really high percentage.
Yes.
Like seriously, it's probably 96.5.
Yeah,
if you were to calculate all
she's serious too.
Most Capricorns are. I'm just saying it is what it is. But back to what were we talking about?
About you being
it was the Forbes list.
The Forbes list.
Okay.
Okay, so it was called the Next 1,000 list. It was around the time a little after COVID. So what happened with this list? They did something different, and they were interested to see what entrepreneurs just opened and how many probably closed because of COVID.
Right.
So for whatever reason, that was a topic of discussion at the Forbes boardroom, I guess. And then they said, let's put together a list that we never done before, and let's get 1,000 entrepreneurs who have exceedingly grown after COVID, even though they could have failed.
Was EYL on that list too? I think it was.
I don't know.
I don't think
so.
Okay.
But I also I could have looked through the whole list, but I don't think so because at that time I think I would have known.
I got you.
So that's what happened. So people like Ciara, Russell Wilson, A-Rod, few other celebrities and board directors and stuff made the choice.
Well, why would and this is a curious question. Why would they be picked on that list of Next 1,000? Because they're talking about entrepreneurs, right?
No, they're not on it. They picked it.
Oh, they picked it.
They selected it. So we had to send over obviously everything, resume, financials, different things, for them to make a decision. And I guess there were like tons of people to choose from, and they chose 1,000. It might have been like over 100,000.
Did you have to send over like tax returns too?
You sent over, like, I guess you could send over like a P&L statement, like different things like that,
Gotcha.
just so they can have an idea of, like, I guess the whole point was, what are you really making? Like,
are you really doing what you say you're doing?
Right. Like, did you get a profit?
Right.
And that's what we want to talk about. How did you get a profit when we were during COVID and you were supposed to shut down and whatever the case is? So that's kind of how that list came about. So I was appreciative to be on it.
Of course.
And in my industry too. So
congrats for sure.
Yeah, so
that's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, that's definitely amazing.
That was pretty cool. But
definitely appreciate that. That's a huge accomplishment. So I know you got somewhere to go. We don't want to make you late. Miss Serial Entrepreneur.
I think that it has already
it already expired.
Right, exactly. So it's like you might as well ask your last little bonus question and keep it moving.
She said little bonus.
But I want you to.
She said little.
I didn't mean to say that.
I'm not even gonna look your way. I'm looking this way.
No, I got to get better at that because I always say that, but I don't mean it the way. You know how they say, don't let nobody say you're a little business.
I mean, you don't mean it that way, but
I
it definitely
don't mean
comes
it
out.
I know, so I gotta be more. I gotta be more intentional.
I got you. So,
but I wanted you to shout that book out again. Let them know where they can find it.
So the book is Insure the Bag. It will be available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a bunch of other places. We're going to drop the link so you can click it and get it delivered.
It's crazy. I didn't even know Barnes & Noble was still open. Like, I only see like one or two. No, it's a lot of them did close.
I know. You would think he would know about Barnes & Noble because he's the old head one.
You think he would. He just be talking, man.
I saw like two of them the other day.
Okay, so what you're saying is Barnes & Noble's not out here in abundance.
Exactly. That's
but they're still open.
Remember when you said, oh, you coming out with a physical copy?
Oh, that was him who said that?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, yeah, that was you. Oh, yeah, because you started with the limited mindset when I first walked in.
There we go.
That's what we
And then I was about to walk out the interview because I was like, oh, if that's what we on here, I'm going to have to go.
So that's what y'all just did just a while ago?
Oh, we switched it?
Y'all ain't just do that just a while ago.
But Ashley, let them know where they can find you, how they can tap in with you. If they want the event space, they want the insurance. How can they tap in with you?
So if you want the event space, you go to @uniquestudiosjc.com, and the phone number is there, and the website will be up there as well. If you would like to book videography, shoot, photography, podcast, a private event, anything. You can literally do anything.
Is it on Peerspace or?
It's on Peerspace. Okay. It's on Jigster. It's like on all the major places. But for people watching, it probably would be easier for them just to go to the Instagram page and just click the link from there. And then my personal Instagram is @AshTheRealMcCoy. I am not like one of those Instagram business people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, she barely posts, and if she does, just knows.
So I can't jump in your DMs and try to link up
No, you
with
can still jump in the DMs and
say hello.
I mean for business. I mean for business.
Like, I
clarify that.
Yeah, let's just clarify that. He's talking about for business.
Yes.
So you can jump in the DMs for business.
Yeah. Business purposes.
Only. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, it's true. Only.
So hold up. She was talking about another partnership. She had 3 partnerships. Go ahead.
Ash the Real McCoy. So you can come to my page, and what you will get from me is me as the entrepreneur, the person. Like when you first asked who was Ashley McCoy, I feel like on my Instagram I depict that.
Yes.
Like I don't focus on insurance or but I do show my life, which is, I'm working, I'm going to do a meeting, or I'm going to do this today. I posted that. Or I'm just going out to dinner, but this is the real live person. I don't put on a facade.
Literally,
right, exactly. Yeah, literally, yeah.
So if I want to get my Bentley, my Rolls Royce, my Lamborghini truck insured,
and your Honda or Toyota, come on, bro. She insures regular cars too.
Yeah, I do have. What about the Honda? You don't want me to insure that one?
My Prius, my bicycle.
I do bikes. I do motorcycles.
I said bicycle.
I could do a bicycle too.
She do it all. Same thing. Just Instagram.
It's on your homeowner's policy. It'll be considered like content.
So. How do we get to the insurance?
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm about to get.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
My bad.
So you can call my office phone at 201-812-7870 and use the prompts for whatever it is that you need, and then we'll be able to help you get a quote on auto, home, business, life, commercial, health, anything that you need. And my website is www.msagencyinsurance.com.
That's amazing. Appreciate you for coming by. I know we took a little bit longer, but definitely giving the people a lot of game on how you managing your business, how you running your business as a woman, as a black woman. You know it's tough. It's the real Ashley McCoy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Not a problem, man.
Until next time.
Yes, until next time. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Tevin Facey.
I'm Ashley McCoy.
This is Brandon the Provider. This is the Millionaire Essentials podcast. Give you all the essentials to become a millionaire. Peace.
Peace.